A trailblazing candidacy, breaking barriers and facing scrutiny. Kamala Harris's journey to national prominence was nothing short of historic. Her rise through the political ranks has been a beacon of hope and a symbol of progress for many. As the first female, first Black, and first Asian American Vice President of the United States, she shattered barriers and inspired millions. Her achievement is a testament to the changing face of American politics and the increasing inclusivity of its leadership. However, her path to power was not without its challenges, marked by both triumphs and setbacks. Each step forward was met with scrutiny and resistance, but also with support and admiration from those who believed in her vision. This essay delves into the complexities of her political career, exploring the factors that contributed to her historic rise and the obstacles she faced along the way. It examines the multifaceted nature of her journey, highlighting both her achievements and the criticisms she has encountered. From her early days as a prosecutor in Alameda County, California, Harris demonstrated a commitment to justice and a tenacity that would define her career. Her work in the courtroom laid the foundation for her future roles in public service. She rose through the ranks, becoming San Francisco's district attorney and later California's attorney general, breaking barriers at each step. Her tenure in these positions was marked by significant reforms and a focus on fairness and equity. In these roles, she gained a reputation as a tough but fair-minded advocate for the people. Her ability to connect with community members and address their concerns earned her widespread respect and support. Her election to the United States Senate in 2016 marked another milestone. It was a moment of pride for many who saw her as a trailblazer and a champion for underrepresented communities. She was only the second Black woman ever elected to the chamber, and her powerful voice quickly resonated on issues ranging from criminal justice reform to immigration. Her speeches and legislative efforts highlighted her commitment to creating a more just and equitable society. Her sharp intellect and prosecutorial skills were on full display during Senate hearings, where she earned a reputation for her incisive questioning. Her ability to hold powerful figures accountable was a defining feature of her time in the Senate. However, with her groundbreaking candidacy came intense scrutiny. The media and public alike examined every aspect of her record, often with a critical eye. Every aspect of her record was examined, and her every word was parsed for meaning. This level of scrutiny was both a testament to her significance and a challenge she had to navigate carefully. She faced criticism from both the left and the right, each side questioning her progressive credentials or her prosecutorial past. These critiques were a constant reminder of the polarized nature of contemporary politics. Despite the challenges, Harris remained a formidable force in American politics. Her resilience and determination allowed her to push through adversity and continue advocating for her vision of justice and equality. Her story is a testament to her resilience, her unwavering commitment to justice, and the power of representation. It underscores the importance of having diverse voices in positions of power and the impact they can have on society. Her journey serves as an inspiration to countless individuals who see themselves in her story and aspire to break down barriers of their own. Kamala Harris's legacy is one of hope, perseverance, and the relentless pursuit of a more inclusive and just world. The weight of representation. Identity as both sword and shield. Kamala Harris's identity as a Black and Asian American woman was central to her political narrative. It was not just a part of her personal story, but a significant element that shaped her public persona and political career. It fueled her passion for social justice, resonated with marginalized communities, and, at times, exposed her to harsh criticism and double standards. Her identity was a source of strength and a point of vulnerability, a duality that she navigated with grace and determination. Navigating the complexities of identity politics became a defining aspect of her political journey. She had to balance the expectations of being a trailblazer with the realities of a political landscape that was not always welcoming. On the one hand, her background allowed her to connect with voters on a personal level. She was able to speak to their experiences and struggles in a way that felt genuine and relatable. She spoke candidly about her experiences with racism and sexism, sharing stories of her family's immigrant experience and her upbringing in a community that had been shaped by the civil rights movement. These personal anecdotes were not just stories. they were a testament to her resilience and commitment to justice. This authenticity resonated with many, particularly women and people of color, who saw in her a reflection of their own struggles and aspirations. Her ability to articulate these shared experiences made her a powerful advocate for those who often felt voiceless. Her identity also informed her policy positions. It was not just about representation. It was about bringing a perspective that had been historically marginalized into the halls of power. She was a vocal advocate for criminal justice reform, pushing for policies that addressed racial disparities in the justice system. Her background as a prosecutor gave her a unique insight into the flaws of the system and the changes needed to make it more equitable. She championed affordable healthcare, recognizing the disproportionate impact of healthcare costs on minority communities. Her policies aimed to bridge the gap and ensure that everyone had access to the care they needed, and she spoke out forcefully against discrimination in all its forms, drawing on her personal experiences to highlight the need for greater equality. Her speeches often called for unity and understanding, urging people to look beyond their differences and work together for a better future. However, the same identity that empowered her also made her a target. The very qualities that made her relatable to many were used against her by others. She faced racist and sexist attacks from some quarters, with critics questioning her loyalty to the United States and attempting to paint her as too radical for the country. These attacks were not just personal, they were political, aimed at undermining her credibility and influence. Her prosecutorial record was scrutinized through a racial lens, with some accusing her of being soft on crime when it came to communities of color. This scrutiny was often unfair and overlooked the complexities of her role and the systemic issues she was trying to address. The double standards were evident. Actions that would have been praised in a white male politician were often met with skepticism or outright condemnation when she took them. This disparity highlighted the ongoing challenges faced by women and people of color in leadership positions. Actions that would have been praised in a white male politician were often met with skepticism or outright condemnation when she took them. This disparity highlighted the ongoing challenges faced by women and people of color in leadership positions. She was criticized for being too ambitious, too assertive, and too emotional, stereotypes often used to undermine women in positions of power. Yet, she continued to push forward, using her identity as both a sword to fight for justice and a shield to protect herself from the relentless attacks. A campaign adrift, messaging missteps, and strategic blunders. Kamala Harris's presidential campaign was marked by a series of missteps and strategic blunders that ultimately hindered her ability to connect with voters and build a winning coalition. From the outset, her campaign faced numerous challenges that were difficult to overcome. Despite entering the race with high expectations and a compelling personal story, her campaign struggled to articulate a clear message and capitalize on her strengths. Her background as a prosecutor and senator was impressive, but the campaign failed to leverage these credentials effectively. One of the most glaring weaknesses of the Harris campaign was its lack of a coherent and consistent message. This inconsistency made it difficult for voters to understand her platform and what she truly stood for. She often seemed to be trying to be all things to all people, shifting positions on key issues and struggling to define her vision for the country in a way that resonated with voters. This approach diluted her message and made it hard for her to build a loyal base of supporters. This lack of clarity left voters confused about what she stood for and where she wanted to lead the country. Voters were looking for a leader with a clear and decisive vision, but Harris's campaign failed to provide that. Adding to the campaign's woes were a series of strategic blunders. These missteps further eroded confidence in her ability to lead effectively. Her decision to attack Joe Biden, the eventual Democratic nominee, on the issue of race during the first Democratic primary debate backfired, alienating some moderate and black voters who saw the attack as opportunistic and divisive. This move was seen as a major miscalculation. The campaign also struggled to raise money effectively and build a strong grassroots organization, ultimately failing to compete with Biden's well-funded and well-organized operation. Fundraising is a critical component of any campaign, and Harris's inability to secure sufficient funds was a significant setback. Internal conflicts and staff turnover further hampered the campaign's efforts. A stable and cohesive team is essential for a successful campaign, and the constant changes within Harris's team created an atmosphere of instability. Reports of infighting and dysfunction within the campaign created an image of disarray and raised questions about Harris's leadership abilities. These reports were widely covered by the media, further damaging her public image. The campaign's inability to project an image of unity and competence ultimately contributed to its downfall. In the end, the combination of messaging missteps, strategic blunders, and internal conflicts proved too much to overcome, leading to the campaign's eventual collapse. Democratic divisions, internal struggles, and missed opportunities. Kamala Harris's presidential campaign unfolded against the backdrop of a deeply divided Democratic Party, grappling with fundamental questions about its identity, message, and strategy for defeating Donald Trump. This internal struggle within the party created both opportunities and obstacles for Harris, shaping the trajectory of her candidacy. The Democratic Party was at a significant crossroads. The 2016 election of Donald Trump had exposed deep fissures within the party, pitting the progressive wing, energized by Bernie Sanders' insurgent campaign, against the establishment wing, represented by Hillary Clinton. This divide played out in the 2020 primary, with candidates vying for support from different factions within the party. Harris attempted to position herself as a bridge builder, someone who could appeal to both progressives and moderates. However, this strategy proved difficult to execute effectively. Her record as a prosecutor alienated some progressives, while her attempts to court moderate voters were seen as insincere by others. She struggled to find a comfortable space within the party's ideological spectrum. Furthermore, the Democratic Party's focus on defeating Trump at all costs created a challenging environment for Harris. The party establishment quickly coalesced around Joe Biden, who was seen as the most electable candidate, even if he wasn't the most inspiring. This left little room for other candidates like Harris to gain significant traction.